Hi, my name is Katie Finlon. I am a reporter primarily for Kendall County newspapers, including Kendall County Record, Oswego Ledger, Plano Record, and Sandwich Record. And I am talking with Lynn Dubajic, the Economic Development Consultant for the United City of Yorkville. Thank you so much for joining me, Lynn.
Oh, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. And I've been in the role of Economic Development Coordinator in one way or another for the City of Yorkville since the year 2000. So this is the 20th year that I've served in this capacity. So I've seen a lot of changes and highlights, lowlights, and in between. It's been great.
Oh yeah, and thank you for kind of jumping the gun a little bit because yeah, I wanted to ask you, Lynn. So I do have an idea of what you do and what your role is with the city and what that entails. But could you summarize it for those who might not?
Certainly. So I work on primarily two things, and that is working to attract new businesses to Yorkville. They could be independent businesses, they can be businesses of any type, industrial, office, retail, service. And also I work on keeping our existing businesses knowing what their needs are so that they hopefully will be growing, and when they grow they choose Yorkville to expand into. So it's retention and also creation of businesses. And when you think about economic development, it really is two things. It's about jobs. So we want to create jobs so that there's opportunities for our residents to work locally. And then it's also about creating capital investment in the town, because when a business grows and makes an investment in the community, it helps everyone because those are real estate taxes that are being paid, and it lessens the burden off the residents.
Which, yeah, and I know that's a very important talking point and has been in Kendall County in particular. And it's certainly not limited to Yorkville. But so yeah, you were actually in the name of what you do, and I know you are a very busy human being. You were just telling me before we signed on here that it's been a day of insanity for you. Can you tell me about it?
So last week on Wednesday, everything kind of went live with phase 3 for our reopening of Illinois, which meant that our restaurants can do outdoor seating. And we had talked about this before, knowing that this could be happening, and kind of brainstormed amongst city staff. And so as soon as it was announced on Wednesday, literally the texts were flying back and forth, and the department heads were all working together and saying, well, what do we need to do, and how can we do this, and how can we help these businesses, because we know that it's a big leap that they're going to have to go from what they have been doing, which was so hard, learning how to create a way for them to make money with just pickup and delivery, when many of them were not built for that. And now going to this next step, and what can we do to help these businesses? What are their needs? How do we need to adjust at the city level? So, it takes a village. So true. It takes everyone from the police department, the public works, parks and recs, administration, community development, our fire protection district. We've all been working together as like one unit, kind of identifying what the businesses need, how they want to move forward, what do we have as far as resources that we can let them borrow and use, because picnic tables, I mean, people, now is not the time for a business to spend money on tables when they've been trying just to get by with, and most of them are significantly down in sales. So we wanted to provide anything that we could as a resource. So sometimes it's brain power, sometimes it's actual tables and chairs. So, identifying who these businesses are, what are their needs, and what is their wish list, and how can we do this for them. So the last couple of days have been more like, now we've got to put the action and the plan into action. So it's delivery time, where our parks and recs and public works guys are out there collecting what the city has as far as actual pieces of things that the businesses could use, and delivering them. So this has been a kind of insane, but it's really gratifying, and it's wonderful how everybody's working together. It's just incredible. It's really wonderful.
And when you're talking about these materials, are you talking about like maybe tables that the city has or anything like that?
Tables, chairs, picnic tables, porta potties, and also barricades. So it's important to remember that a business would come up with a plan of where they would want to have their outdoor seating, but it has to be reviewed by the police department, by the fire department, and by community development to make sure it's a safe environment for for their customers and also for their employees, because they're going to be moving out of their normal realm. Some of them have existing patios, but there are restaurants that are going to do something completely new. So we want to make sure that they're set up for the best success.
Yeah, and that reassured me, because I even just deferring back to last night's, we're recording on Wednesday for everyone's reference, but on Tuesday, May 26th, there was a Yorkville City Council meeting, and one of the aldermen even mentioned, like, hey, make sure you use the bathroom before you go. That's reassuring that there's going to be porta potties, it sounds like. But
Yes.
yeah, and actually I do appreciate kind of getting a snapshot of what mindset businesses are in a lot more currently. But I mean, what has been the general sentiment for Yorkville area businesses from kind of mid-March, when all of this began, up to this point?
Well, I think everyone, I think everyone feels the same way. I think when it first started, everybody thought, okay, well, we're going to pivot, because, that's the term we've been using, right? And we're going to figure out how we're going to do this. But I think everybody thought it was going to be, I don't know, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month. And as it developed, I think people were like, oh, this is the new normal. And, how are we going to even perfect what we've been doing to be able to serve our customers better and to be able to survive? Because basically for a lot of these businesses, it's something new. Taking something that they do and even marketing it. That's how Yorkville To Go was created. So the Chamber of Commerce really stepped up and said, how can we be a part of this to get the word out? And creating that page, Yorkville To Go, that allowed everybody in real time, whether it's a business owner or a resident or someone that's coming through Yorkville, to post information about things that they're eating. I think there's 3,500 followers to that page now. So I think it's interesting, because these are some of the things that, when all is said and done and we go back to normal, or whatever the new normal is going to be, that some of these things will be still out there and were created as a result of the pandemic. But it's a brilliant idea, and it really helps people to get the word out about what their specials might be, or so it's been really wonderful to see that happen. So I think it's been a kind of a journey for everyone. What is this new normal? How are we going to perfect it? How are we going to do the best that we can? How does it work for their employees, for themselves? What do the consumers want? So it's been a learning curve right along the way. And so now it's very interesting with outdoor seating. There are some people that are feeling as though they're liking the way things are, and they're not necessarily going to do outdoor seating, and that because it's not for everyone. So,
Could you provide an example? I didn't mean to interrupt you, Lynn, but could you provide an example of that?
So Massiano's Pizza in Yorkville, they have the ability to select a part of their parking lot. They said they don't have an outdoor patio, but they could do a part of their parking lot. But they said, this is working for us, and we're going to do this. So. So they're not changing. Wings, etc. as well. They can change their mind at any time if they see something that they see as a good idea and they want to use it. They can do that. Or somebody that may be doing outdoor seating might say, we thought it was going to turn out this way, and we're going to do it differently. So we're there to adapt with them and to help them as they get through this too, because it's a learning curve. It's again something new.
Right.
Restaurants with a patio will probably, they're more familiar, with what to expect. So it's great that everybody is just, giving it a shot or deciding, no, this is not the way to go. A lot of fast food restaurants are sort of built and with drive-ups, and they know that model is working for them, and they may have outdoor seating, but they're not really set up where someone's going to go out and take an order. So, so we're just kind of learning as we're going.
I gotcha. And actually, in the name of that, just for comparison's sake here,
Mm-hmm.
so from what you've seen, how has Yorkville addressed, or I'm trying to think of the right way to frame this question, but so compared to other communities in the area, I mean, how would you say Yorkville has differently addressed this matter?
Well, I only know what's going on in Yorkville because I don't have a whole lot of time to look at what's going on in other towns. I might see a glimpse on a news feed, but and I'm sure every town wants to see the businesses succeed. But I think that the difference is that, you know, from the very moment that this was announced regarding the outdoor seating or whatever has happened along the way, Yorkville has really set that it was a high priority to do anything that we can to help proactively. So to, you know, seek people out. So immediately reaching out to everybody and saying, here's what we have, what can we do? Give us your wish list, you know? So, you know, I think that's just been our approach, but that's sort of, we're a small town and, you know, and everybody does care about each other and work together. So I think that really showed in this that, you know, we were seeking the input and the desires from people early on, and you know, kind of getting their wish lists and trying to see how we could help in any way. So,
I gotcha. Yeah, and how many, just from my own reference too, and just so everybody has a very clear idea of what your job entails here. So how many businesses are you talking like at any given point at the same time here to address these concerns?
With the restaurants, there are about 30 that have liquor licenses, and to conquer and divide, you know, I kind of had to prioritize. So the ones with the liquor licenses were more apt to have outdoor serving, you know, so I kind of focused on them first, and some of them had patios already. So, you know, I kind of like divided and got to that group first. But then I literally spoke with every restaurant. So fast food, Starbucks, Panera, I made sure that I touched base over last weekend with everyone to see what their plans were and if they had any needs as well. Because we didn't want them to, you know, they're maybe perhaps more built to do something else, but we didn't want them and their needs or their desires to be put aside. So I reached out to every single person. There was 26. So it'll be about almost 60 restaurants and bars.
Just in Yorkville, just to be clear.
Yes, just in Yorkville.
Yeah, absolutely. And with all that said, and I really do appreciate you taking the time to speak with me now and always, Lynn. But with all that said, is there anything else that you wanted to add that you would want the public to be aware of as the business community, particularly in Yorkville, moves forward in these times?
Well, obviously, it's very important to support our local businesses, and as it always has been, but probably now more than ever. I know where restaurants were concerned, a lot of people were suggesting to buy gift cards. I think that's a fabulous way that you can support a favorite restaurant to help them out. I think that we have a very determined group of restaurants in Yorkville. You know, other than fast food, we really have independent restaurants in Yorkville. We don't have any national sit-down restaurants in Yorkville. So these are people,
yes, that's true.
and the other thing is, you know, people even don't even realize is that even our local fast food is many times owned by someone who is a community member that either live in Yorkville or one of our surrounding communities. So, you know, it might look like something that you see in every town, but a lot of times it's a local person that's behind those restaurants. So I think that our restaurants need our support more than ever. And I think that, you know, I would just say to everybody, be patient, because right now, as everybody was kind of getting used to the new normal when it was pick up and delivery, right? And they were saying like, well, do we do online menus and can we order online because phones are getting clogged up and all that, you know, the things that were happening. So we're going to have another learning curve here. So, you know, I think that, you know, I just ask people to be patient because, you know, I think that we're going to go into this next phase of, you know, how's it going to work if everybody shows up at the same time, but there's limited seating, you know, please don't be upset or mad because, there are limitations that the restaurants can do. So, but restaurant owners love their customers, and they can't wait to get back. I think I can say that for everybody that I've talked to, whether it's a restaurant, salons, retail, it's just such a sentiment. Everyone is so excited to see Friday here.
Absolutely. And Lynn, I can't thank you enough. Thank you so much for taking the time here.
You're welcome.